What's up, guys? It's your boy Patience once again. So I came at you with something different today. Usually I have something new to publish, but unfortunately today I don't have that. And today what I'm going to do is I'm just going to talk about, because I didn't have the time to implement into this at the moment. I've been slightly trying to work on my 2D, but that's not going good because my MacBook keeps shorting out on me because it has some bad problems connecting with my drawing monitor. So I've bought me a few connectors that I couldn't find in my area, so it'll be sent to me within a couple of days. Once that happens, and I'll be able to get back to the 2D side of things a bit better and get publishing, implementing my 2D into this stuff. But today, what I really want to do is just talk about the ideas that I've been trying to come up with, and I'm going to use this vessel as a way to help me do so. So this is going to be how we will start explaining the notion behind black holes and vessels trying to traverse alongside them in order to be hook-shotted out into the middle of nowhere. So I'll quickly model this one out to help me do so. So if you guys could just be patient with me and just until a little while, and then I can get my 2D side of things going. Until then, I will explain. So as you can see, I've got my ship, I've got my pulsar ship just whizzed out, I've got my superstar there, and I have a volcano. And obviously the black hole. What's the point of the volcano? The volcano is going to play a part in this scene. I don't know if I'm going to make it active or not, but if I do, that will be awesome. Could it be like a catalyst or catalytic crazy case scenario? But that's something that will come for another time. What I want to explain is how do black holes work and what are black holes. These are questions that I truly don't know my darn self, so it's something that we'll try to explain in my work the best I can to make it seem convincing and entertaining. But in the process, I decided, why not just share some of this thought process with you guys. So the question, what is a black hole? If you look at a star, like our star for instance, the information gathered from that, the information given on to us, anything that we've got to inform us what a sun may be. A sun is a star. A star is an energy disk that burns off a lot of energy from its core. Which is a very important source of information. In contrast to that, what's a black hole? A black hole is similarly the same thing. It's a black disk that sucks in a lot of energy from its outer core to its inner core. So it's like taking a mirror, putting it between the two, but one does burn from the outside out, from the inside out, and the other one takes heat from the outside in. But another question, is a black hole a disk or is it a ball? These are stuff that, again, I don't know. If it's a ball, then that would make it exactly like a super black sun, but the opposite of a sun. So instead of giving off light, instead of burning off energy, it consumes energy and seemingly consumes light as well. For this, it makes it a super energized structure, which is similar to that of, one could then reason, the starting of the universe. Starting of the universe, at first it was all black and then there was a big bang. What created a black hole was a big bang technically, and then, or quite specifically, and within this raging debris and storm of Damascus, this is how it's said planets are usually created and designed. So if you was to kind of think about this in a realistic format, what we would likely be seeing as human beings, if possible, would be explosions going off every now and then within this little case scenario. Is seemingly big bangs are what create worlds and moons and all these wondrous things that we see before us on a daily basis, if we take the time to observe in any manner or fashion that we do so. So these are stuff that I've been trying to figure out. But if it's a disk, that would imply that a black hole is literally just a hole, and things fall into it and seemingly come out into another dimension. Maybe a ball would insinuate that it's just a gravitational ball, something that has kind of been forced into some sort of some sort of visual form. So from nothing it's become something, which is a black ball of gravity. And this black ball of gravity, from negative energy, as it were, it's so much positive energy, it's somewhat exploded again into like a negative energy, and so it's consuming positivity in order to try and give itself existence, as it would seem. But instead of that, like a plug to a bath, it's consuming all that energy and flushing it down into a drainage system, as it were. But then once all the water is gone, then you would assume that the black hole just vanishes, because energy no longer exists. There's no longer maths, there's no longer any kind of equation for it to work out within, because at the moment what we would be seeing was the universe saying that this thing exists because it's gone into like a minus energy. This is if it's a disk, it's gone into like a minus energy. So if it's gone into, you would expect it to expand as well if it's consuming all this energy. But as it's consuming a lot of energy, it's almost like it's trying to mount up its numbers to go from negative into positive, but we know that's impossible. Black hole doesn't know that. So but if it's a ball, a black sun, then it would almost beg the question, why doesn't it ignite into a burning star like any other star? Why does it remain a ball of gravity, and how long does it remain a ball of gravity for? Because gravity, due to size, you would assume that it would clamp things onto it and become like a super-sized world or super-sized sun, rather than just always floating around as like this black ball of energy that never does anything besides consume. And that's what we come to know today based on that information that we've been given. If it's a disk and it's sucking away all this energy, yes, this huge disk, the accretion disk, though it is superheated energy, the kind of energy that is what is needed to create worlds of all sorts and sizes, and it's like superheated gases heated to temperatures that we probably couldn't even truly comprehend our darn selves. It's being sucked away into this thing, but it's being sucked away into nothingness, which means it'll probably be possible to fly into the center of the into the eye of the hole and be okay, because all that energy is being sucked, and there's no real equation for that. Equation meaning that there's no maths being applied to the generation or to the declining of heat energy, because it's being sucked away. So if you was able to literally surf ride this disk with all these heated gases, as you enter into the black hole, maybe it super freezes or super cools down, or maybe the heat remains the same, or maybe it gets maybe the heat multiplies by whatever figure it consumes the heat at. Whereas if it's a black star, then all that heat and all that energy, sometimes it looks like a pulsar, where you get like these beams of energy to its north pole and its south pole, and it's like it's throws away all the energy and it sucks it in. Why would it do that? I don't know. Is it something that I want to use? No, it's not. Which method am I going to go with? The disc or the black ball? Again, I don't know. So if you guys have feedback, or if you got any more information, I wouldn't mind if you share that with me. But black holes to me just seemingly don't make any sense. But I've read like a lot on black holes, and I've seen a lot of information, and all sorts of diagrams, and explanations, and I still find it hard to understand what these things are exactly. Um, Seemingly, they're consuming a lot of light, which begs the question as well: how possible is it to understand how the system works if a black hole is a disturber of the flow of light? Because it's very important for us to understand via the wavelength of light where that light came from, and understanding where that light came from also allows us to understand how our system works, where it began, where one world would be in a couple of years time, as to a couple of months time, as to a couple of days time, and even weeks, months, or even hours, minutes. But if a black hole is disturbing that movement, disturbing the knowledge, as it were, of time, then what say that the information gathered from my characters down on, the red world down there, is accurate? Why would they say they're going to get up and go check out this mass energy disk or ball if the light that they get from it is reading wrong information, or information that's not as accurate as one might seem to believe? Because if light travels in wavelength, and there's maybe a black hole 25,000 light years away in one direction, and light is moving 25,000 light years away from that black hole, but it's still being influenced by that black hole, then who knows, will you get any smears within light? But the light may be deterred partially, maybe mostly. And so, not to mention that if the pull of gravity from a black hole has any influence on the travel of light's time, then by the time light reaches us, are we seeing the exact right time of that time of light, or are we seeing a time that's being manipulated, as it were, by a grand manipulator, as we're seeing here? So it's said that it doesn't let go of light. That I've tried to look up to see if it does disturb light from its trajectories. I've seen maybe here or there where it says if it does, then it would be very slightly. And then you'd also have to reason that as a light exits the stars, as it expels itself from the star. However that happens, the light gives off light. The star gives off light energy via maybe burning gases, etc., etc. As it lights up and the light goes flying away from it, does the sun pull that light in any way? But then you've got to remember, the idea and the notion from this one is, most importantly, my ship, if you was trying to surf around the accretion of a black hole. Why it's called an accretion, again, I don't know, because it doesn't seem to amount to anything besides just being a disk. But if you was to go surfing around the accretion, you got to take a few things into consideration. One, the accretion is filled with super duper heated gases that are going to completely damage not only your shields but your ship, and melt it in an instant, and not to forget that it'll probably override your heating systems as well as your cooling systems. So you'll probably bake like a turkey, or maybe even a few stacks of steak before completely melting into a puddle of nonsense. And then two, you've got to take the gravity into consideration. The gravity of a black hole is pulling you, as crazy as it can, obviously, at forces that's unimaginable to the mind span of a simple human. But then you've also got to take into consideration that, like a star, it's probably pushing you away as well, with the amount of force that is, that storm, the accretion, as it swings around and around. You're going to have pulling, and you're going to have pushing forces, influences happening within that instance, and you know that's going to be happening because it's a gravitational field, it's a gravitational ball, and so it's got the influence of gravity. It's alive with gravity, so you're gonna feel that energy of pull and suck notion. That's for darn sure. So the second you enter into the field of a black hole, especially if you're that close within or atop its disk, you're gonna crush, because it's impossible to, you're gonna have forces pulling and pulling to and against you. Not to mention, it'll probably have you moving at speeds quicker than that of light, by multiple times, I might add, because I'm pretty sure that disk is spinning. So your equations to light and movement, as well as your existing movement, is going to have to be quite precise, because you're going to be now moving at the speed of light, by the multiples, and probably guessing like hundreds of times that of a light trip. So these are things I'm trying to take into consideration and think about when I tell you that I'm thinking about physics and stuff. This goes a hell of a lot deeper, by the way, so it's more than just what I'm telling you now. This is like the basic facts. So yeah, I hope you guys are interested in this. These are some of the building structures that I've been building out within that little time span for me to upload this video, to make it just that little bit more interesting for you. As you can see, I've made it just that little bit more cyberpunk. I've put a bit more interesting features upon my buildings, as to the houses that I showed you before. Because we're on quite an elegant planet and it looks quite beautiful, so I figured why not put some beautiful building tops on there, to make it look nice for you guys and all. So these are things that I will be working on. I can't wait to bring out more for you guys. I can't wait to start my 2D stuff so I can show you what I've got envisioned for this. Yes, it is going to be an action-packed scene. What do I mean by action-packed? I wish I could explain, but I just might spoil the notion. So it's something that I think I'm going to complete and put out there for you guys this time. And yeah, so I hope you're enjoying what you see. I hope you like my work. I hope you're going to keep following along. It's your boy Patience, guys. Leave your thumbs, your likes, and your comments down below if you're interested in my work. Most certainly leave those comments. Over and out.
Hollywood, Hollywood, that's your boy Hollywood. He puts it